After the two left, Chen Qianqiu frowned and said to Chen Yinhua beside him, "Sister, Lin Fan's reputation is getting bigger and bigger. Even the big shots in the Baiyun Chamber of Commerce want to meet him. People always strive for better things. Although our Chen family has a place in Yunchuan, it's nothing compared to the whole Great Xia Kingdom. Men all have ambitions. Once there's a better choice." Chen Yinhua fell silent after hearing this. She hugged her daughter and shook her head, saying, "Lin Fan isn't that kind of person. Since he's back, he definitely won't abandon me and little Lian Lian. Then why did he suddenly leave 10 years ago? He abandoned you to cultivate and become stronger 10 years ago. Now, if there's a better choice, there's no guarantee that he won't disappear again. What exactly do you want to say?" Chen Yinhua interrupted Chen Qiangxi's words, but her face was a bit pale. "Sister, you're just an ordinary person, while Lin Fan is now a grandmaster-level expert. Even compared to those sects on the mountain, he's an absolute prodigy. If you really want to be with him, when he comes back, ask him to quickly go back to Yunchuan with us to meet our parents and settle the matter. We can't delay it any longer." On the other side, in a secret meeting room in the Jinling City branch of the Baiyun Chamber of Commerce, 5 people with extraordinary auras were gathered together. Sitting at the head was a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man was named Niu Ben and was an elder of the Baiyun Chamber of Commerce headquarters. His cultivation level was already at the 5th level of the innate realm. Below the middle-aged man on the right were 2 men, one fat and one thin. The fat man was named Lu Neng and was at the 3rd level of the innate realm. The thin man was named Chang Peng. Besides these 3 people, there were also 2 women in the scene. One was a young woman with a white veil covering her face, named Yin Ziyue, at the 5th level of the innate realm. The other was an old woman with white hair. The old woman held a dragon-head cane. She looked old but had sharp eyes. Her cultivation level was the strongest among the 5 and had reached the 7th level of the innate realm. "Everyone, what do you think about the incident that happened in the Fengyun gang not long ago?" Niu Ben asked with a smile. According to the rumors, Long Outyan was killed by a young man under 30 years old. This is simply impossible. Long Outyan was a martial arts grandmaster. Even if the 5 of us joined forces, we might not be his opponent. Lu Ning shook his head and said, "Only a fool would believe this." Chang Ping sneered and added, "I heard that besides Long Outyan, there was also a Japanese master of the swordway at the scene at that time. This person was also a martial arts grandmaster. As the chief law enforcer, Long Outyan might have died together with this person." "That makes sense." Niu Ben nodded. Actually, he didn't really believe it either. The key was that after the news came out, it was quickly suppressed by the law enforcement department, so many people didn't know the specific situation at that time and could only guess. And just at this time, Feng Hai brought Lin Fan into the room. "Elder Niu, this is young Master Lin." As soon as Feng Hai came in, he introduced respectfully. His expression was very cautious, knowing that none of these 5 people in the room was someone he could afford to offend. Niu Ben's eyes were fixed on Lin Fan, and a trace of doubt immediately flashed in his eyes. He couldn't feel the slightest trace of martial arts aura from the other party, as if he was just an ordinary person. Thinking of this, Niu Ben stood up and said with a smile, "Young Master Lin, I'm Niu Ben from the Baiyun Chamber of Commerce. I've long heard of your great name. Elder Niu, you're too polite." Lin Fan nodded and directly found a seat and sat down. "If you have something to say, just say it directly. I don't have much time." Before Niu Ben could speak, Chang Ping couldn't help but sneer. "You don't have much time? Do you know that just to wait for you, we've wasted over an hour? You're really humorous." "I didn't ask you to wait for me, did I?" Lin Fan said calmly. Chang Ping was choked and didn't know what to say for a moment. He turned his gaze to Niu Ben and said coldly, "Elder Niu, it's not that I don't give you face. I thought you asked us to wait for some big shot. But in the end, just such an ordinary-looking kid came. Could it be that this kid is a disciple of some major sect? Did you call him here so that we can take him to train? If it's just to take a junior to train, I definitely won't agree." Niu Ben didn't even bother to respond to him when he heard this. Instead, he looked at Lin Fan and asked with a smile, "Young Master Lin, I heard that you're collecting a large number of spirit explosion bombs. As far as I know, spirit explosion bombs are only useful in front of low-level martial artists. Once you reach the heavenly realm, their usefulness is almost negligible. What's the purpose of young Master Lin collecting so many spirit explosion bombs? This has nothing to do with you. I naturally have my own uses for them." Lin Fan said calmly. "Right. For a nobody like you, spirit explosion bombs are indeed useful. At least you can use them to blow up Earth Realm martial artists." Chang Ping sneered beside him. "Is there something wrong with your brain? You've been babbling non-stop since I came in." Lin Fan slapped him. Chang Ping never expected that Lin Fan would dare to hit him. His body staggered and he fell off the chair, sitting on the ground with a thud. "Bastard! How dare you sneak attack me? You're looking for death. Chang Ping jumped up from the ground with a murderous look on his face and punched Lin Fan fiercely. Lin Fan's expression was cold. He directly grabbed Chang Peng's neck and lifted him up. A nobody like you dares to provoke me. Chang Peng's expression was both shocked and angry. He mobilized the true qi in his body and struggled violently, but it was useless. When the people in the scene saw this, their expressions suddenly became solemn. This young man is so powerful that he easily defeated a martial artist at the 3rd level of the innate realm. A glint flashed in Niu Ben's eyes. Feng Hai really didn't lie to him. This Lin Fan is not simple. Thinking of this, Niu Ben immediately came out with a smile to smooth things over. Young Master Lin, it's a misunderstanding. Please put Chang Ping down first. In the next second, crack. Chang Peng's body limply lay on the ground. The several innate realm experts in the scene were all dumbfounded. After all, Chang Peng was no ordinary person. He was a martial artist at the 3rd level of the innate realm. Once he was an extremely powerful being at the peak of the innate realm. Now, however, he was like a little chick being pinched by the neck and lifted up. With a click, Chang Peng's body went limp and lay on the ground, motionless. Several innate realm powerhouses in the field were all stunned. After all, Chang Peng was no ordinary person but a powerhouse at the 3rd level of the innate realm. Beside them, Lu Ning narrowed his eyes slightly. Young Master Lin, don't you think you've gone too far? Chang Peng just said a few harsh words, and you killed him. And then? Lin Fan glanced at Lu Ning indifferently. When Lu Ning saw his gaze, his heart suddenly tightened. He could sense that if he dared to say more nonsense, Lin Fan would definitely take action to kill him. Then, what I want to say is that young Master Lin actually did the right thing. Chang Peng had a foul mouth and deserved to die. I hate people like him the most. Lin Fan was slightly surprised when he heard this. You're quite good. I like dealing with smart people like you. It's not so tiring. Cough, cough. At this time, Niu Ben coughed lightly. Let's talk about the real business. The reason I came to you is that Feng Hai told me that you're collecting spirit explosion stones. As we all know, spirit explosion stones are made from spirit stones. However, spirit stones are extremely rare in the market, and each one is priceless. I have some news now. There's a spirit stone mine in the Putuo Mountain in Jinghang. I wonder if you're interested, young Master Lin. Are you sure it's a spirit stone mine? Lin Fan's expression remained calm. In the age of Dharma ending, spiritual energy is depleted. Spirit stones are extremely rare, let alone spiritual veins. Moreover, not to mention anything else, my daughter's constitution requires a large number of spirit stones to awaken. You're an elder of the Baiyun Chamber of Commerce. Since you need helpers, why don't you look for them within the Chamber of Commerce? When Niu Ben heard this, he couldn't help but laugh. Young Master Lin, if I tell the Chamber of Commerce about this matter, the spirit stone mine will have nothing to do with me. By then, the Chamber of Commerce will give me a few spirit stones and give me a good person award. Wouldn't I be a fool? Lin Fan nodded. When are we going? Niu Ben was delighted when he heard this. The sooner the better for this kind of thing. If it's convenient for you, young Master Lin, let's set off now. At this time, Yin Ziyue came to Lin Fan's side. Her face was covered by a white veil, and her face couldn't be seen clearly. But judging from her graceful figure, she could definitely be called a fairy. Young Master Lin, may I ask you a question? No. Lin Fan replied indifferently and directly turned around and went back into the meeting room. Yin Ziyue stared blankly at Lin Fan's departing back. I forgot that I still have a veil on my face. If he saw my real face, how could he refuse? In fact, Lin Fan had already known Yin Ziyue's face long ago. How could a thin veil block his divine sense? The reason he ignored Yin Ziyue was that he thought Yin Ziyue was a very scheming woman, and her scheming was particularly strong. Half an hour later, the helicopter landed in a private manner. As soon as the few people got off the helicopter, an old man in a black robe led a group of people and quickly walked up with a smile. Elder Niu, long time no see. The old man in the black robe was named Lin Feihai. He was Niu Ben's sworn brother. When they were young, they traveled together in the martial arts world and formed a deep friendship. It was Lin Feihai who told him the news of the spirit stone mine this time, which also showed how good their relationship was. Taking advantage of the moment when the two were chatting, Lin Fan also looked around at the surrounding environment. Undoubtedly, this Lin family was definitely a top martial arts family in Jinghang City. Just the area of the manor was estimated to be nearly 1,000 mu. The guards in front of them were all at least martial artists in the mysterious realm, and the old man in the black robe had already reached the 5th level of the innate realm. Brother Lin, let me introduce the several masters behind me to you. Niu Ben said with a smile as he turned around. Lin Feihai nodded. His bright eyes swept over Lu Nang and Yin Ziyue one by one, and finally landed on Granny Jin Hua. A solemn look flashed across his face. This person was definitely a master. As for Lin Fan, he was ignored by him because he couldn't feel the slightest martial arts aura from him. He thought that Niu Ben had brought a junior here to broaden his horizons. Brother Niu, who is this? Lin Feihai looked at Granny Jinhua and asked cautiously. This is Granny Jinhua, Niu Ben said with a smile. Many members of the Lin family were shocked when they heard this. The 7th level of the innate realm. In Jingheng City, this was almost an invincible existence. Lin Feihai then shifted his gaze to Yin Ziyue and Lu Neng, about to speak. However, unexpectedly, Niu Ben interrupted his words. Brother Lin, this is Lin Fan. Lin Feihai was stunned for a moment and looked at Lin Fan with a pair of puzzled eyes. Since Niu Ben introduced this young man in white clothes second, it undoubtedly showed that this man named Lin Fan was not simple. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't underestimate young Master Lin. Young Master Lin's strength is unfathomable. Even Granny Jinhua may not be his opponent. Niu Ben whispered in Lin Feihai's ear. Lin Feihai was shocked when he heard this. He knew that his good brother wouldn't lie to him. So he quickly smiled and said, I didn't expect this young brother also has the surname Lin. We can be considered of the same family. You guys chat first. Just call me when it's time to set off. He'll go outside and take a stroll. Lin Fan replied and walked towards the outside of the manor on his own. He sensed a familiar fluctuation of spiritual energy, like that of a spiritual herb. He had to go and confirm it. If it was correct, then just this spiritual herb alone would make this trip worthwhile. Looking at Lin Fan's departing back, Lin Feihai frowned. Many members of the Lin family in the field were even more displeased and thought that Lin Fan was a bit too much. The old family head took the initiative to greet you. As a young junior, you should at least be polite instead of being so casual. You really have no manners at all. For a while, all the members of the Lin family had a very bad impression of Lin Fan. Lin Feihai shook his head and then said to a pink-dressed girl in the crowd, Ame, follow him and accompany young Master Lin to have a good time in Jingheng City. Let me go. It's my first time in Jingheng City, and I also want to take a stroll. Yin Ziyue suddenly said. This is Fairy Yin from the Flower God Palace. Niu Ben introduced. Lin Feihai was startled when he heard this. The Flower God Palace was a major sect on the mountain with profound heritage, far beyond what their Lin family could compare to. Moreover, this Yin Ziyue, at such a young age, had already reached the 5th level of the innate realm. It was almost certain that she would break through to the Grandmaster realm in the future. Yin Ziyue gently tapped her foot and leaped dozens of meters forward, chasing after Lin Fan. Seeing this scene, the younger generation of the Lin family all showed looks of amazement on their faces. This is the legendary fairy. She's not only beautiful but also so powerful. Among the crowd, there was a young man in black. A glint flashed in his eyes. A nice woman. She's not much worse than those top-quality ones I've played with in my original body. And her primordial Yin energy is abundant. If I can absorb her primordial Yin energy, my cultivation level can recover a bit. The young man in black was Lin Shuhan, the legitimate son of the Lin family. In fact, he was a body snatcher. His previous body was an old monster at the nascent soul stage. In a great battle thousands of years ago, he was seriously injured, abandoned his original body and nascent soul, and fled. Finally, he fell into a deep sleep. He woke up only a year ago. As soon as he woke up, he took over Lin Shuhan's body and gradually recovered his cultivation level by relying on the resources of the Lin family. Now he's already at the 9th level of the Qi refining stage. Although he's at the 9th level of the Qi refining stage, relying on his combat experience from his previous life, he can be said to be invincible below the Martial Dao Grandmaster level. Nowadays, Martial Dao dominates. Once I, Old Ghost Ming, recover to the Golden Core stage, I can sweep through everything and do whatever I want. Moreover, the crossing spirit flower in the back mountain is about to bloom. With the help of the crossing spirit flower, I can break through to the foundation establishment stage. By then, I won't be afraid even when facing a Martial Dao Grandmaster. Thinking of this, Lin Shuhan couldn't help but show a sinister smile at the corner of his mouth. According to the guidance of the spiritual energy fluctuation, Lin Fan finally arrived at a small mountain about 2 kilometers away from the Lin family's manor. He came to a stream. By the stream, weeds grew thickly, but there was a flower that was very eye-catching. This flower was dark blue. Although it hadn't fully bloomed yet, it was already unusually enchanting. It was the most conspicuous in this mountain forest. Most importantly, there was a faint aura of spiritual energy surrounding this flower. It's actually the crossing spirit flower. A glint flashed in Lin Fan's eyes. The crossing spirit flower was an extremely rare spiritual medicine. This flower is like a small spirit gathering array. It can absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth around it and purify and temper the absorbed spiritual energy in various ways. A dark blue flower. It's quite rare. Just then, Yin Ziyue came to Lin Fan's side, and a look of surprise flashed in her eyes. Lin Fan glanced at Yin Ziyue and frowned. This woman is so annoying. She follows me wherever I go. Do you also like flowers? Yin Ziyue's voice was as pleasant as ever. It's none of your business. Lin Fan casually replied and quickly walked towards the crossing spirit flower. This kind of natural spiritual object had to be picked quickly. Yin Ziyue was so angry at Lin Fan's back that she almost spat out blood. She thought to herself, when you see my real face, I won't even pay attention to you even if you kneel and lick me. Meanwhile, in the meeting hall of the Lin family, Lin Feihai, Niu Ben, Granny Jinhua, Lu Neng and others were sitting on chairs, chatting while drinking tea. They could tell at a glance that Lin Shuhan was already a martial artist at the 7th level of the Hotian realm. Lin Shuhan was only in his 20s. It was really remarkable to become a martial artist at the 7th level of the Hotian realm at such an age. Brother Lin, your grandson is quite remarkable. Niu Ben said with a smile. Haha, you're all too kind. Lin Feihai stroked his beard and laughed loudly. Although he was modest in words, the look of pride on his face was obvious to anyone with a discerning eye. Shuhan, come and say hello to these seniors. Lin Shuhan didn't really want to say hello. Although he was in a down-and-out situation now, his previous body was an old monster at the nascent soul stage. In his eyes, whether it was Niu Ben or Granny Jinhua, they were just ants. As for the 7th level of the Hotian realm, it was just the martial Dao realm he deliberately manifested by using secret methods. In his previous life as a nascent soul old monster, he had too many ways to hide his aura. Greetings, seniors. Finally, Lin Shuhan still greeted them with a smile. But at this moment, he seemed to sense something. The smile on his face suddenly froze, and he looked in the direction of the small mountain and shouted coldly. Who is it? How dare you touch my things? The moment he finished speaking, Lin Shuhan's body flashed out. Brother Lin, what's wrong with him? A look of surprise flashed in Niu Ben's eyes. I don't know either. Could something have happened? Lin Feihai frowned. Let's follow and take a look too. Beside the brook, Lin Fan dug up the spirit crossing flowers directly and sealed them with a secret method to prevent the spiritual energy inside from dissipating. All he had to do was wait until he returned to Jinling City, use a few spirit stones to hasten the blooming of the crossing spirit flower, and then he could reap the joy of a bumper harvest. Maybe he could even take this opportunity to break through to the middle stage of the nascent soul stage at once. Lin Shuhan's figure appeared on the scene. He saw Lin Fan picking the flower and immediately a murderous look flashed in his eyes. That flower is mine. Put it back obediently. Lin Fan casually looked at Lin Shuhan. This person seemed to be a martial artist at the 7th level of the Hotian realm on the surface, but he gave Lin Fan a very strange feeling. This kind of spiritual flower grew naturally in the wild forest. How could it be yours? I discovered it long ago, but I just didn't pick it. Lin Shuhan forced himself to suppress the anger in his heart. Just because you discovered it first, it's yours? Lin Fan couldn't help but laugh out loud. Is this young master of the Lin family a fool? How could he have such childish thoughts? At this time, Lin Feihai took a look at the two people who were at loggerheads and then asked, Shuhan, what's going on? This person snatched my flower. Lin Shuhan said coldly. Lin Shuhan said coldly. Lin Feihai's expression changed slightly, and then he saw the crossing spirit flower in Lin Fan's hand. If young Master Lin likes flowers, I can give you as many as you want. But my grandson really likes the blue flower in your hand. Could you please let us have it? Gaining the friendship of our Lin family is far more valuable than a single flower. Lin Fan couldn't help but laugh. What is your Lin family? Are you very powerful? Beside him, Niu Ben immediately spoke up when he saw that the situation was not right. It's just a flower. Since Lin Shuhan likes it, just give it to him. I asked you to come and help, not to make trouble for me. How can we cooperate like this? In that case, we don't have to cooperate anymore. Lin Fan calmly looked at Niu Ben and then turned around and left. Niu Ben's expression was gloomy and uncertain. He could only smile bitterly at Lin Feihai. Brother Lin, I didn't expect such a thing to happen. I'm really sorry. Lin Feihai narrowed his eyes slightly when he heard this. Was this Lin Fan really that terrifying? Even Niu Ben didn't dare to offend him. Just then, Lin Shuhan suddenly rushed forward and threw a fierce punch at Lin Fan's back. Lin Fan snorted coldly. Without even turning his head, he casually swung his hand. Before Lin Shuhan could react, he was sent flying dozens of meters away and finally smashed heavily onto the ground, fainting. Seeing this scene, many members of the Lin family present all gasped. The eldest young master was a martial artist at the 7th level of the Hotian realm. He was actually sent flying so easily by Lin Fan with just one slap. Even Lin Feihai's expression changed slightly. He hadn't expected this at all. What do you mean by this? You beat my grandson like this. You should kneel down and thank me for not killing your grandson. Lin Fan sneered. Lin Feihai was so angry that his whole body trembled. He wanted to attack Lin Fan, but was firmly held back by Niu Ben beside him. He had witnessed Lin Fan's strength before. It wasn't until Lin Fan walked out of the mountain forest and disappeared from everyone's sight that Niu Ben let go of Lin Feihai and said guiltily, Brother Lin, I'm really sorry about this. This person is completely an uncontrollable factor. I shouldn't have brought him here. Although I don't know his origin, he can instantly kill a powerhouse at the 3rd level of the innate realm. Lin Feihai's pupils shrank slightly when he heard this. Even he couldn't do that. How terrifying must the power that could cultivate such a young prodigy be? Indeed, there's no need to offend him just for a flower. If what Niu Ben said is true, then he really can't afford to offend Lin Fan. As the patriarch of a big family, Lin Feihai couldn't act impulsively. After leaving the Lin family's manor, Lin Fan found a hotel nearby to stay in. According to the previous conversation, people from many major forces would gather at Putuo Mountain tomorrow to search for the spiritual vein. So he could just go there by himself. Whether he cooperated with Niu Ben and the others or not didn't make much difference. As for the crossing spirit flower, spiritual treasures of heaven and earth belong to those who are capable. Saying that whoever sees it first owns it is just ridiculous. Thinking of this, Lin Fan placed the crossing spirit flower on the table and took out spirit stones to hasten its ripening. In an instant, a pure energy spread out in all directions. Lin Fan was delighted and immediately circulated the 9 heavens immortal evolution method to absorb all this pure energy into his body. After about 8 hours, a glint flashed in Lin Fan's deep eyes. As expected, I've successfully formed a nascent soul and stepped into the middle stage of the nascent soul stage. Lin Fan was overjoyed. In just a short time after coming down the mountain, he had actually advanced from the peak of the golden core stage to the middle stage of the nascent soul stage. If he had to practice hard on the mountain by himself, it would probably take him 4 or 5 years. Lin Fan then shifted his gaze to the crossing spirit flower on the table. After releasing the energy in its stamens, the crossing spirit flower had lost its original color and become dull. If you want to refine the crossing spirit pill, just having the main ingredient is not enough. You still have to collect some supplementary ingredients. While thinking this, Lin Fan put the withered crossing spirit flower into his Qiankuan bag. At this moment, there was a knock on the door of the room. Lin Fan opened the door and found that it was Yin Ziyue standing outside. She had obviously just taken a bath and was emitting a faint fragrance all over her body. Yin Ziyue smiled slightly. Young Master Lin, is it convenient to chat for a while? I really have something to tell you. Lin Fan sneered when he heard this. It's already 10 o'clock at night. Are you that desperate? Yin Ziyue was speechless. Since she was a child, when men saw her, they either showed a lewd look or a flattering and fawning appearance. It was the first time she had encountered someone as vulgar as Lin Fan. Young Master Lin, I don't think I've offended you. Why are you treating me like this? The more Lin Fan ignored her, the stronger her desire to conquer Lin Fan became in her heart. Don't think too much. I just don't like you, that's all. After saying that, Lin Fan was about to close the door. However, unexpectedly, Yin Ziyue blocked the door. You don't even know what I look like. Why don't you like me? After saying that, Yin Ziyue slowly lifted the veil on her face. A peerlessly beautiful face immediately came into Lin Fan's eyes. It had to be said that Yin Ziyue was indeed very beautiful. Moreover, because she was a martial artist at the innate realm, she gave people a feeling of a fairy descending to the mortal world. Unfortunately, Lin Fan was an exception. Get lost. He pushed Yin Ziyue away and decisively closed the door. Yin Ziyue stared blankly at the closed door, unable to react for a moment. She had shown her real face, but Lin Fan was still like this. Could he like men? Damn Lin Fan. Yin Ziyue angrily stamped her foot, cursed a few words in a low voice, and then turned around and left angrily. In the middle of the night, in the Lin family's manor, Lin Shuhan had already woken up from his coma. There was a fierce look in his eyes. In the battle during the day, Lin Fan had caught him off guard. He snatched the crossing spirit flower and made him lose all his face. He definitely wanted to take revenge for this. Do you really think I'm just a martial artist at the Hotian realm? If I didn't want to expose my identity, I could have crushed you with one hand. I can put on a black knight suit and go there alone tomorrow. By then, even if my strength is exposed, there's nothing to worry about. Lin Fan, I hope to see you at Putuo Mountain tomorrow. By then, you'll let you know the consequences of offending me, old ghost Ming. Putuo Mountain is a relatively famous scenic spot in Jingheng City. There's a Putuo temple built in the mountain. It's said that making wishes there is very effective, so many tourists come here especially to burn incense and worship Buddha in the Putuo temple, hoping for peace and safety. At around 7 o'clock in the morning, Lin Fan arrived at the foot of Putuo Mountain. At this moment, more than 20 martial artists had already gathered at the foot of the mountain. These 20-odd martial artists were divided into 4 teams. In each team, there was at least a martial artist at the 6th or 7th level of the innate realm leading the team. Seeing Lin Fan walking over alone, many martial artists present were all surprised. This kid came here alone. Niu Ben and Lin Feihai looked at Lin Fan with cold expressions. Since what happened yesterday, the two sides had already broken off relations and there was no need to communicate. Just then, another team quickly walked over from not far away. The leader was an old man with an unfathomable aura. He had actually reached the 8th level of the innate realm. Why did this old guy come too? Niu Ben's expression was solemn and he had a bad feeling in his heart. The strongest person in their team, Granny Jinhua, was only at the 7th level of the innate realm, while Nangong Shenhua was already at the 8th level of the innate realm. When it came to conflicts over the spirit stone mine in the future, the weaker side would be very passive. Nangong Shenhua shifted his gaze to Niu Ben and pretended to be surprised. Niu Ben, didn't you go to be an elder in the Baiyun Chamber of Commerce? I didn't expect you to be here too. I understand now. So you're hanging out with Lin Feihai again. You two are really close. I saw you two fooling around together every day more than 10 years ago. Ha ha ha. Nangong Shenhua, what do you mean by that? Lin Feihai stood up. He didn't want to provoke Nangong Shenhua, but that didn't mean he could let Nangong Shenhua humiliate him. Seeing this scene, other martial artists present all showed strange expressions. They had long heard that the Nangong family and the Lin family didn't get along well. Now it seemed that it was really the case. Speaking of which, in the past, when Lin Feiyang, a powerhouse at the 9th level of the innate realm of the Lin family, was still alive, the Lin family didn't fear the Nangong family. Unfortunately, Lin Feiyang forced himself to break through to the martial Dao Grandmaster but failed. He went mad due to qi deviation and died. Since then, the Lin family had gradually declined. Lin Fan began to think. He remembered that he had killed a person named Nangong Shui before. Could it be this old man's descendant? At this time, 2 more teams quickly walked over. The leader of one of the teams was a young man in his 30s. This young man was named Wang Shua. He was only at the 5th level of the Hotian realm, but there were several innate realm martial artists following behind him. His strength was also extremely powerful. Isn't this Grandpa Shenhua? I didn't expect Grandpa Shenhua to come so early. Wang Shua scanned the scene. When he saw Nangong Shenhua, his eyes immediately lit up and he walked over with a smile and greeted him. Shuar, why didn't your father come and let you come instead? Nangong Shenhua said with a smile. His attitude towards Wang Shua was obviously very good, which was a world of difference from how he treated others just now. My little uncle was killed in Yunchuan. My father went to Yunchuan to investigate. Wang Ming was killed in Yunchuan. Nangong Shenhua frowned. Yes. Not long ago, there was news about an immortal's tomb in Yunchuan. My little uncle went there with a few friends, but he never came back. When we found him, he was already a cold corpse. When Wang Shua talked about this matter, his expression was extremely gloomy. This matter was the biggest provocation to their Wang family. They must find the culprit and execute him by dismemberment. When the others in the field heard this, they couldn't help but start whispering among themselves. No wonder we haven't seen Wang Ming's figure in the major clubs in Jingheng City recently. So he's already dead. I heard that Wang Ming was a very perverted person. He often wiped out entire families and humiliated other people's wives and daughters. He deserved it. The last sentence was said in a very low voice, but it was still heard by a martial artist at the 4th level of the innate realm behind Wang Shua. Get out here. How dare you insult my Wang family? Wang Donglai, the 5th elder of the Wang family, immediately turned his cold gaze towards Lu Neng. Lu Neng's expression changed slightly. His voice had been so low just now. How did the other party hear it? Brother, you must have made a mistake. I didn't say anything. Lu Neng wanted to defend himself. My listening skill is superb. I can even hear a mosquito flapping its wings 100 meters away. How dare you insult our deceased family member in front of me? Wang Donglai had a murderous look on his face. Lu Neng's face turned pale when he heard this. He didn't expect that there was someone in the Wang family who practiced such a useless skill. Get out here. Kneel down and cut off one of your arms, and I'll spare your life. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave Jingheng City today. Wang Donglai said coldly. Lu Neng's face was as pale as paper. He couldn't help but turn his pleading eyes towards Niu Ben, Lin Feihai, and others. Niu Ben cursed Lu Neng half to death in his heart. Why did he have to say something so mean for no reason? However, he still said with a smile, Lu Neng just said something on impulse. There's no need to be like this. How about I let him apologize to you? Apologize? Are you kidding me? He must pay the price for what he just said today. Wang Donglai's expression was cold and he remained unmoved. At this time, Wang Shua also said lightly, hurry up and kneel down and cut off your arm. My patience is limited. The people of the Lin family can't protect you. Hearing this, Lu Neng's legs almost went weak from fright. He turned his pleading eyes towards Niu Ben and Lin Feihai, hoping that they would speak up for him. But the two of them fell silent at the same time. Lu Neng looked desperate. He didn't expect that his teammates would abandon him so resolutely. Could it be that he could only cut off his arm to survive today? At this moment, Lin Fan said lightly, Lu Neng, come to me. I'd like to see who dares to touch you. Hearing this, many martial artists present all showed incredulous expressions on their faces. Most of them didn't know Lin Fan at all. In their eyes, Lin Fan didn't show any martial arts aura and looked like a powerless weakling. A weakling actually dared to say such a thing. At this time, Wang Donglai pointed at Lin Fan and sneered, "You, come out too." Before Lin Fan could reply, Lu Ning quickly said, "Elder Wang, this has nothing to do with young Master Lin. Don't you just want one of my arms? He'll cut off my arm right now." "It's too late." Wang Donglai interrupted Lu Ning's words. "I told you to come out and kneel down. Are you deaf?" Seeing this scene, the others on the scene couldn't help but show a hint of amused smiles on their faces. "Look what you've done. Why did you have to interfere? Stop pretending." However, in the next moment, with a bang, Lin Fan slapped Wang Donglai. Before Wang Donglai could react, his whole body exploded with a loud bang. Lin Fan's deep eyes scanned the remaining Wang family martial artists. The Wang family has a big mouth, but their strength isn't that great. Dare to oppose my Wang family? Do you know the consequences of what you've done? A martial artist at the 5th level of the innate realm of the Wang family asked coldly. With a bang, Lin Fan slapped this innate realm martial artist at the 5th level into a mist of blood. "I really want to know what consequences he'll face." It was extremely quiet. Almost everyone was petrified. In just a dozen seconds, 3 innate realm martial artists of the Wang family died one after another. Who on earth was this young man? He killed innate realm powerhouses as easily as crushing ants. After a brief moment of shock, Wang Shua also came to his senses. "Brother, you've gone a bit too far. Now you're calling me brother. Didn't you just ask me to kneel down and beg for mercy?" Lin Fan asked in surprise. "Putting aside the matter of asking you to kneel down, don't you have any?" Before Wang Shua could finish his words, he saw Lin Fan slap him. With a bang, Wang Shua's whole body exploded directly into a mist of blood. Seeing this scene, many martial artists present felt numb all over. Wang Shua was the only son born by Wang Youji, the old patriarch of the Wang family, when he was 87 years old. Everyone in Jinghang City knew that Wang Youji doted on Wang Shua to the core. Wang Shua could get whatever he wanted. Those who offended him were basically wiped out. One could imagine what Wang Youji's reaction would be when he heard this news. As a super powerhouse who was about to break through to the martial Dao Grandmaster level, who could bear his wrath? Nangong Shenhua narrowed his eyes slightly. The wilder Lin Fan was, the more fearful he felt in his heart. He felt that Lin Fan might have some trump cards that he didn't know about. Thinking of this, Nangong Shenhua smiled and said, "Haha, little brother, we have no enmity with each other. There's no need to be so hostile." "Really? Is Nangong Sun from your Nangong family?" "I killed this person." Nangong Shenhua was stunned when he heard this. "It doesn't matter. He was blind and offended you. He deserved to be killed. No one else is to blame. I should actually thank you, young Master Lin, for getting rid of a troublemaker for my Nangong family." Goodness! Lin Fan couldn't help but exclaim in his heart. This old fox is really something. He's definitely the most patient person I've seen since I came down the mountain. As time passed by minute, a young man walked slowly over from the front. When they saw this young man in black clothes, many martial artists present all stood up and walked up one after another, greeting him respectfully, "Senior Zhuge." Even Nangong Shenhua took a step forward and took the initiative to smile and say, "Brother Zhuge, long time no see." Seeing this scene, a look of surprise flashed in Lin Fan's eyes. Who is this young man? As soon as he arrived, so many martial artists here showed such respect for him. "Young Master Lin, this person is named Zhuge Machin. Don't be fooled by his young appearance. In fact, he's already over 100 years old, and his martial arts cultivation is unfathomable. It's said that he's already half a step into the Grandmaster realm. Moreover, Zhuge Machin is noble-minded and never bullies the weak with his high cultivation. So everyone respects him very much." Lu Ning introduced in a low voice beside him. Lin Fan fell into deep thought when he heard this. There are too many ways to maintain a youthful appearance, such as taking a rejuvenation pill or reaching a certain level of cultivation. But no matter which method it is, one's spiritual energy can't remain unchanged. Since Zhuge Machin is already over 100 years old, why does his spiritual energy seem like that of a 20-year-old? What secrets does this person have? By the way, I heard from Lin Feihai that the news about the Spirit Stone Mine in Putua Mountain this time was also spread by Zhuge Machin. Lu Ning suddenly said in a low voice. For such a good thing as a Spirit Stone Mine, why didn't he enjoy it alone? Why did he spread the news? A strange look flashed in Lin Fan's eyes. "I see that everyone is here, but where are the people from the Wang family?" Zhuge Machin suddenly asked. Everyone didn't hesitate at all and directly told what had just happened. Zhuge Machin then turned his gaze towards Lin Fan. "Why don't you come over and greet Senior Zhuge when you see him? You don't have any manners at all." Perhaps because of Zhuge Machin's arrival, a group of martial artists were not as afraid of Lin Fan as before. Lin Feihai didn't know what he thought of, and he also shouted loudly, "Not greeting the senior when you see him. Is this your quality? You won't be able to achieve great things in the future like this. Shut up. Lin Fan slapped Lin Feihai with one hand. Lin Feihai couldn't react at all and was sent flying dozens of meters away. Senior Zhuge, please uphold justice for me. Lin Feihai struggled to get up. How could Zhuge Machin not know Lin Feihai's little thoughts? Patriarch Lin, it's not that I don't want to uphold justice for you, but what you said was indeed a bit insulting. After that, Zhuge Machin didn't say anything more. Instead, he said to everyone, deep in the Spirit Stone mine, there's a powerful monster guarding it. If we want to obtain the Spirit Stones, we must defeat this powerful monster. This is also the reason why I gathered everyone here. Monster? Everyone's pupils shrank slightly and they started talking among themselves. A glint flashed in Lin Fan's eyes. There's actually a monster? Doesn't that mean I can get some treasures again? Don't panic, everyone. In fact, this monster isn't particularly powerful. I've fought it before. Its strength is estimated to be around half a step into the Martial Dao Grandmaster level. As long as we all work together and join hands, we can definitely deal with it. Half a step into the Martial Dao Grandmaster level. When everyone present heard this, their hearts were moved. There were more than 20 innate realm martial artists present. It was completely possible to kill a monster with the strength of half a step into the Martial Dao Grandmaster level. Since Senior Zhuge said so, let's hurry into the mountain. Yes, I can't wait to dig for spirit stones. One spirit stone is worth 80 or 90 million. When made into a spirit explosion bomb, it can even be sold at a sky-high price of over 100 million. If I can get a few hundred of them, that'll be tens of billions. Many martial artists said excitedly. Zhuge Machin smiled slightly and then took the lead and walked into the mountain. The others quickly followed behind. Watching the backs of the group of people leaving, Lu Ning couldn't wait any longer and urged Lin Fan beside him, young Master Lin, let's hurry up and follow them too. Lin Fan didn't follow them. Instead, he said lightly, don't rush. Let's wait until most of them are dead before we go over. What do you mean? Lu Ning was stunned. This Zhuge Machin is lying. He's already a Martial Dao Grandmaster. How could he not be able to defeat a monster that's only half a step into the Martial Dao Grandmaster level? Lin Fan sneered. While saying this, Lin Fan shifted his gaze to a hidden corner. Everyone's gone. There's no need for you to hide anymore. There's someone else? Lu Ning was shocked and immediately followed Lin Fan's gaze. Not far away, behind a huge tree trunk, a man in black slowly walked out. Lin Shuhan, I let you go once before. Why are you so determined to come and seek death? Lin Fan suddenly sighed. So it's you. Lu Ning exclaimed. Quite perceptive. Lin Shuhan didn't expect to be recognized. He tore off the mask on his face. Hand over the crossing spirit flower. I can leave you a whole corpse. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying aura emerged from Lin Shuhan's body. So powerful. Lu Ning's mind went blank. This aura, even if it wasn't as powerful as that of a Martial Dao Grandmaster, was probably not much weaker. You're just a little chi refining cultivator. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Lin Fan impatiently slapped him with one hand. Seeking death. Lin Shuhan snorted coldly. He raised his palm and attacked Lin Fan in return. Looking closely, there was a mysterious rune faintly visible in his palm, and there was a terrifying thunder power hidden within the rune. However, in the next moment, Lin Fan grasped Lin Shuhan's neck with just one hand. Lin Shuhan's face was filled with horror. He struggled violently. Even if he didn't hesitate to use the nascent soul power within his body, it was of no use at all. You're a body snatcher. Lin Fan immediately sensed this nascent soul power and his face showed a look of shock. According to what the old man said, once one reaches the nascent soul stage, even if the body is shattered, as long as the nascent soul is not destroyed, one can forcibly seize another body and be reborn. He just didn't expect to meet a body snatcher here. Didn't expect that, right? I'm also a nascent soul cultivator. Lin Fan said with great interest. Hearing this, Lin Shuhan's expression was gloomy and uncertain. In his heart, he subconsciously thought it was impossible. Because Lin Fan was too young, probably only in his 30s. To become a nascent soul old monster at this age, even in the heyday of cultivation thousands of years ago, it was a rare existence. Perhaps some true disciples of top sects could reach this level, but he had never seen it before. So it's a fellow cultivator. We really didn't know each other until we fought. Put me down first. Let's have a good talk. Sorry, you don't have this chance anymore. After saying that, Lin Fan directly used the soul-searching technique on Lin Shuhan. Lin Shuhan only felt a sharp pain in his sea of consciousness. This pain spread to the depths of his soul, and finally, he just rolled his eyes and fainted. Lin Fan learned from the memories that this nascent soul old monster was named Ghost Ming Laozu. He was a famous big devil more than 3,000 years ago. He was originally just a handyman in a cultivation sect. Later, by chance, he got an opportunity and learned a heretical technique called the Qi Absorption Great Method. With the help of this method, he became a powerful being at the late stage of the nascent soul stage in just 80 years. Unfortunately, for some reason, there was a great war in the cultivation world back then. Ghost Ming Lao's body was damaged and his nascent soul was also damaged after that battle, and then he fell into a deep sleep. He woke up not long ago and took over the body of Lin Shuhan, the eldest son of the Lin family, to be reborn. The Qi absorption great method. Lin Fan looked at this technique with great interest. At this moment, a violent vibration suddenly came from the distant mountain forest, as if an earthquake had occurred. On the other side, deep in the Putuo mountain range, a large area had been razed to the ground. And in the central area of the region, a group of martial artists were besieging a huge python. This python had a diameter of 2 meters and its length was an astonishing more than 30 meters. Don't be intimidated by its appearance. It's only at the half-step martial Dao Grandmaster level. As long as we kill it, we can get a large number of spirit stones. Zhuge Machan had a faint smile on his face from beginning to end. Even when facing such a powerful monster, his expression didn't change at all. Zhuge Machan's selflessness and noble character were obvious to all. No one would doubt what Zhuge Machan said. As these words fell, many martial artists present began to surround the black giant python. All the martial artists were gathering terrifying energy in their hands, preparing to release it all at once. Dozens of terrifying attacks hit the black giant python one after another. In an instant, sand and stones flew everywhere and dust filled the air. Just when everyone thought that even if this attack couldn't kill the python, it would at least seriously injure it, they found that the python was completely unharmed. Their attacks seemed to be just scratching an itch for the python and couldn't even break through the python's defense. Something's wrong. Everyone, retreat quickly. Nangong Shenhua immediately sensed that something was wrong. But at this moment, the black giant python moved. Its huge tail swept gently and sent the first person who tried to escape, Nangong Shenhua, flying out. Nangong Shenhua was sent flying dozens of meters away and finally smashed heavily onto the ground. Nangong Shenhua's expression was filled with horror. Is this really a half-step Grandmaster monster? He quickly scanned the whole scene, wanting to ask Zhuge Machan what was going on. But he found that Zhuge Machan had disappeared. This made his heart skip a beat and he had a bad feeling. Many martial artists present were extremely frightened and didn't hesitate at all. They all fled down the mountain. But their speed was too slow for the giant python. In just a dozen seconds, the python had eaten a large number of them. Seeing the black giant python turn its attention to himself, Niu Ben felt cold all over. He felt like his heart was about to burst. I don't want to die. Niu Ben roared in his heart. Without hesitation, he slapped Lin Feihai in front of him hard. Boom! Lin Feihai didn't expect his brother to attack him at all. He staggered and was seriously injured and fell to the ground. Niu Ben, you deserve to die. Lin Feihai screamed bitterly. As soon as he finished speaking, he was swallowed by the black giant python. And the black giant python seemed determined to eat Niu Ben. After swallowing Lin Feihai, it rushed towards Niu Ben again. Niu Ben was both scared and angry in his heart. There were still 7 or 8 people on the scene. Why was it targeting him? Seeing the black giant python getting closer and closer, Niu Ben then turned his vicious gaze towards Yin Ziyu and not far away from him. What do you want to do? I'm from the Flower God Palace. Yin Ziyu noticed Niu Ben's gaze and her face turned pale with fright. Niu Ben let out a fierce shout and slapped Yin Ziyu hard again. Then he took the opportunity to escape far away. The black giant python had already come in front of Yin Ziyu and opened its huge mouth. Yin Ziyu's eyes were filled with despair. If she had known this would happen, she definitely wouldn't have come here. At the critical moment, the black giant python suddenly stopped attacking for some reason. It suddenly raised its head and stared fixedly at the young man who was slowly walking over not far away with its scarlet eyes. Yin Ziyu also looked over when she saw this. When she saw the person coming, her beautiful eyes immediately turned red. It's him. Lin Fan. Come and save me. Tears of joy flowed from her eyes. She was really touched. So Lin Fan had pretended not to pay attention to her before. In fact, he had a crush on her in his heart. Otherwise, why would he risk his life to save her? But soon, Yin Ziyu thought of a key problem in her heart. This monster was so powerful. Lin Fan definitely couldn't defeat it. Come and save me. As long as you save me, you'll do whatever you want. Yin Ziyu deliberately said something that made people's imagination run wild. While begging for help, she stared at Lin Fan's actions. As long as Lin Fan attracted the monster's attention, she would take the opportunity to escape. As for whether Lin Fan could survive or not, it was none of her business. Lin Fan didn't bother to pay attention to a woman like Yin Ziyu at all. He looked at the black giant python in front of him with a puzzled expression. This black giant python was actually the same as the black cloud leopard he had encountered in the 100,000 mountains before. It was also a golden core stage monster. Perhaps in a few more hundred years, this black giant python could transform into a dragon. By then, even a nascent soul cultivator might not be able to do anything to it. Gulu. The black giant python swallowed the crying Yin Ziyue in one gulp. Young Master Lin, Fairy Yin was eaten. Lu Neng was shocked when he saw the black giant python swallow Yin Ziyue. At the same time, he felt a bit pity. Such a beautiful woman was eaten just like that. It would be nice if she could be his wife. Isn't it normal for her to be eaten? The monster was right there beside her, and she still dared to cry and shout. In TV shows, this kind of fool usually dies in the first episode. At this time, the black giant python suddenly straightened half of its body and stared coldly at Lin Fan with its blood-red lantern-like eyes, making a creepy hissing sound. Lin Fan snorted coldly and stretched out his right hand. His slender right hand suddenly grew larger in midair and became as big as a mountain. The more than 30-meter-long giant python was like a small loach in front of the big hand and was easily grasped by the big hand. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The black giant python struggled violently, and a look of human-like horror appeared in its blood-red eyes. Lin Fan was about to directly kill the black giant python and take its inner core. But at this moment, he suddenly remembered the Qi absorption great method. The principle of this Qi absorption great method was actually very simple. Lin Fan understood it at a glance. He just didn't know if it could be used on monsters. Thinking of this, he decided to give it a try and directly use the Qi absorption great method on the black giant python. Only to see the black giant python struggle violently for a while, and then its huge body gradually withered. In just a dozen seconds, the giant python turned into a dried corpse. Sure enough, it can also be used on monsters. A glint flashed in Lin Fan's eyes. After absorbing the spiritual substances in the black giant python's body, he found that his strength had increased a little. No wonder Ghost Ming Laozu could become a nascent soul old monster from a handyman disciple in such a short time. With this Qi absorption great method, even a pig could become a demon pig. Lin Fan then scanned the area with his spiritual sense, found a direction, and turned around to leave. Soon, the two of them came to a dark cave. The spiritual energy in this cave was very thin. It didn't look like there was a spiritual vein at all. Could this bastard be lying? Thinking of this, Lin Fan's mood, which had just been lifted, immediately turned bad. Deep in the cave, Zhuge Machin was standing in front of a stone wall at this moment, quickly copying the strange runes on the stone wall with a pen and paper. As one rune after another was written on the paper by him, his expression gradually became crazy. Finally, ha ha ha. He couldn't help laughing out loud and then said with a venomous look on his face, "Master, do you really think that leaving a monster can stop me? You're really too partial. You taught the spirit summoning technique to that useless senior brother but didn't teach it to me. You even wanted to expel me from the sect. From that moment on, I swore that I would make you regret it. You've already passed away, and I've already killed senior brother. Once I learn the spirit summoning technique, it'll go back to the Wu clan. You'll make all the people in your lineage pay the price for your stupid act. Isn't this the technique of the Wu clan to summon earth spirits?" And at this time, a surprised voice reached Zhuge Moken's ears. Zhuge Moken's expression changed slightly. When he found that the people who came were Lin Fan and Lu Neng, he immediately felt relieved in his heart. "It seems that you do have some skills. You can even avoid the attack of the giant python. But I don't have time to deal with you now. Get out of my way," Zhuge Machin said as he ran towards the outside of the cave. He had already obtained the spirit summoning technique. He couldn't stay here any longer. Otherwise, when the giant snake came back, he wouldn't be its opponent. That giant python was a monster cultivated by his master back then. After so many years, its strength had become extremely powerful. Even an ordinary grandmaster could be easily devoured by it. "Don't rush." Lin Fan casually waved his hand. Bang! Zhuge Machin was sent flying by him and crashed heavily into the wall. But Zhuge Machin quickly got up. He was completely unharmed. His physical strength was quite good. "It seems that you are indeed from the Wu clan," Lin Fan said slowly. According to legend, the 12 branches of the Wu clan all worshipped Pangu the Great and followed Panga's path of proving the Tao with strength. Therefore, they didn't cultivate the primordial spirit but only refined their physical bodies. This Zhuge Machin could withstand 1/10th of his strength. Obviously, his physique was quite good. Was this the reason why he was actually over 100 years old but his bone age was only about 20 years old? Who on earth are you? Zhuge Moken's eyes flickered constantly, not knowing what he was thinking. Who I am doesn't matter. I just want to ask you, where's the spiritual vein you mentioned? Where are there any spiritual veins in this world nowadays? Only you fools would believe it. Zhuge Machin sneered. Lin Fan sighed. What a pity. It's okay if you lied to them. Why did you have to lie to me too? As soon as he finished speaking, he stretched out a big hand and slapped at Zhuge Machin from a distance. Zhuge Machin snorted coldly. He didn't know what technique he used. His slender body suddenly swelled up and turned into a powerful muscular man in a short time. D. He punched back at Lin Fan with all his might. He was a martial Dao grandmaster and didn't believe that the young Lin Fan could defeat him. However, in the next moment, the fist he stretched out was easily shattered by Lin Fan's palm wind. Zhuge Machin was sent flying backwards and smashed heavily onto the ground. He let out a painful scream. He looked at Lin Fan with a horrified look in his eyes. "Spare my life, senior." Zhuge Machin struggled to kneel on the ground and begged bitterly. However, his other hand was covered in blood and he was secretly drawing something on the ground. "Young Master Lin, look at what he's drawing." Lu Ning had been watching the battle all along. When he saw this scene and felt that something was wrong, he immediately spoke up to remind Lin Fan. "Let him draw." Lin Fan said lightly. He could tell at a glance that Zhuge Machin should be drawing the runes of the phantom spirit tree. In other words, he was summoning the earth spirit. Lin Fan was quite interested in the earth spirit, so he didn't stop him. Seeing that the other party didn't stop him, Zhuge Machin was overjoyed. So he simply drew on the ground quickly and openly. At the same time, he was a bit nervous in his heart because it was also his first time trying to summon the earth spirit and he didn't know what would happen. After about 10 seconds or so, Zhuge Machin sprayed blood on the drawn rune paper. "Great earth spirit, come out." Zhuge Machin's voice was full of excitement. Suddenly, the runes on the ground began to emit bright and intense light, as if the door to another world had been opened. A terrifying creature slowly emerged from the light. It had a blue face and ferocious fangs, just like a yiksha in hell.